Shanti. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday workshop series. So, like always, during these workshop series, we try to bring experienced speakers from all around the globe who can share their experience and share some beautiful points which we could apply in our lives and gain benefit from. So today the topic is the problem with problems is. So pretty interesting going into the root cause of the problems which we experience in our lives. And the facilitator for today is Sister Judy, and she's from Halifax, Canada. Sister Judy has worked in the field of leadership and organizational development for 40 years as a coach, a consultant, and facilitator. She works with environment, private, and community sector or at organization, local and international level. She's an author of 5 books, including a youth novel, which is written with her 2 daughters. So that's very interesting. And she coordinates the activities of Brahma Kumaris in Halifax, Canada. So I will welcome Sister Judy. And before we start, just some logistic points. We have languages, translation available in 4 languages. So if you'd like to connect to a preferred language, we have in 4 languages: Hindi, English, we have it in Iranian, and also Turkish. So if you'd like to join in those languages, please click on the globe icon on your screen. And also during the session, everyone will be muted. But if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box, and we'll definitely have those covered during the session. So Sister Judy, a warm welcome to you. Om Shanti, and over to you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sneha. Lovely to be here. I think it's morning time for you, and it's mid-afternoon for me on the East Coast of the same continent. So hello, 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 and lovely to see everyone. Oh, lovely. Look, some faces even. That's even better. There we go. More faces. I love seeing the faces. Very nice. Oh, there's Irene in Peace Village. Fantastic. Look at that. We're across the whole continent. Wonderful. Well, what do you think of this topic? The problem with problems. I found that really interesting as a title, the problem with problems. So I don't know about the rest of you. Are you experiencing any problems in life? Oh, 1 or 2. Certainly the world throws a variety of things at us, don't they? Doesn't it? It really does. So I thoroughly enjoyed reflecting for this session, because it gave me an opportunity to reflect on my own journey. And I realized I don't, oh, sorry, my little computer is unhappy. Can you hear it? Here we go. Give him a little break. Okay, let's see if we can do that again. Are you hearing that, or is it just me? Are you hearing it go?
Hearing it.
Okay, let's just see if we can do switch. Look at that. All right. That's not a problem, is it? We'll just do it like this. Okay. Even just that, I was thinking about how my relationship with problems has changed since I've come to study, to learn and meditate with the Brahma Kumaris. I'm just celebrating my 25th year, so I'm young relative to so many others, but it's been a good journey so far. And reflecting on this, I realized, oh, something's changed for me in my relationship with problems. I think about them very differently now. And it got me reflecting on, well, how did that come about? How did how did I begin to think differently? It's actually a perspective transformation has happened for me in relation to problems. So I just thought maybe I could share with, because I had to reflect on it. Well, how did that change? How did my relationship with problems change? And I brought three practices that when we make them overt and when we actually practice them, they make a difference, or at least they have to me. So let's start though by, like, what is the problem with problems really? The problem with problems is ... Anyone feel free in the chat box. I think you're allowed to be in the chat box. I'm not sure, but let's see if I can just not gonna do that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, in the chat box, let's hear. Yeah, people can hear the sound. I understand. Yep, I will. Can you uncheck the play narration and try? What's that mean? Uncheck the play narration. Harsha's giving me technical instructions, which are very helpful, but I don't understand them. Understand the play narration. So don't share sound, maybe? This might work. Okay, no, it doesn't work. Okay. Complications. Thanks, Roddy, saying, so what's the problem with problems? Complications, absolutely. What else? One gets wrapped around the problems, and the problems wrap around you until you are strangled. Yes, you get full of worries. A surprise, a problem is something unexpected. Yeah, like this. Wonderful. Yeah. What else? So what's the problem with problems, really? We're not prepared to handle them. Typically, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Something comes up and we're not actually feeling equipped to deal with it. That's why we consider it a problem. Otherwise, it's just something happening. Also, Kalyani says we imagine it to be bigger than it is, and we have the uncertainty, and the uncertainty always makes us feel insecure. Yes, Daksha, we don't feel powerful to handle it. And Cindy, it drains you. Okay, so there are a few problems with problems, aren't there? When we think it's a problem, it's a problem. Yeah, definitely. Okay, anything else? So I can see I'm with friends who are well-versed in the world of problems. All right, well, let's explore. And I've brought two very small exercises to do. The first one, you won't need a pen. It will be more like a mental. But the second one, you will actually need a piece of paper and a pen. And it can just be a notebook. It can be anything, but you will for the second exercise. So let's explore this. Harsh is saying, just like the minor problem we're having with sound right now. That's a Dilip. Thank you. Yes. And Harsha looking at something out of context. Very nice. Okay. So typically the problem with problems is that they make us all of the things you said: heavy, drained, weary, anxious, insecure, because they feel like a weight, a heavy burden on us. And we're carrying around these problems, and we're trying really hard to figure it out, which means our mental energy is draining as we try and do that. And, I don't know about you, but it seems to me every day there are more and more surprises, more and more things coming up that were completely unexpected, which we could call problems if we wanted to. And I work in organizational development, and I had the fortune probably 25 years ago, right at the start of this Brahman journey for me, to spend a week with David Cooper Ryder in Peace Village. And he, of course, is the author of Appreciative Inquiry. And this idea he had, which is very much like, very similar to the philosophy of Raj Yoga. So he found kindred spirits in us, the BKs. But what he discovered was that in workplaces, and I know this as a consultant, when you go to a workplace, they hire me because they're having problems. But when you start talking to people about the problem, this is what they look like. The whole body language, the whole mind, the heart, everything, it just shrinks. And it sort of collapses into defeat mode. And his discovery with appreciative inquiry was that the minute you say the word problem, this is what happens to people. And so he said, we're tired of problems. We're fed up with problems. We have an automatic associated response when the word comes up to feel heavy, hard, difficult, defeated, distressed, insecure. So he decided he needed to create a model, something different than problem solving for organizations. I have a dear friend who is one of the best problem solvers I know. And she says the reason she's such a good problem solver is because she causes so many problems for herself. Losing keys, misplacing, So, but we're quite good at problem solvers. We're just tired of solving problems. So instead, shifting our thinking, even to look for solutions, is better than problems. But what happens inside of us when we hear the word problem is we kind of feel like a brick wall comes up. And there's also this feeling inside, dead end. Partly because we feel so small relative to the problem, right? It drains our energy when we think of all of the associations we have with problems in our minds. Immediately we're drained. So we're smaller typically than the problem. So what is it that helps change? Well, one of the things that the research has shown that even thinking, changing something from being a problem into being problematic. This might seem like words, but they actually reflect something quite deep. So when I think of something as a problem, it's like I have a target. It's a thing. It's got to go. It's kind of like it becomes an enemy, and I am now in battle mode with the problem. But when I think of something as problematic, then it starts to become like a riddle, a challenge. And what neuroscience is revealing to us, that problems go to the fear-based part of our brain, the amygdala, which is why we have fight or flight reaction, just at the mere word problem. But challenges go to the neocortex, which is the empowered part of the brain. And we start looking for solutions. We start getting creative. Isn't that interesting? Just these two different words. So from problem to problematic to challenge. Already now I'm in a different inner state as a starting point to respond. Simple matter of words. But this isn't even one of my techniques for you, one of my practices today. But I just thought I'd start with that. So we know that what's happening inside most of us is a fear-based trigger that is, it is triggered when the word problem comes up, or when I perceive something to be a problem. And this is probably from many years and many births of training, we could say, that we now react this way quite naturally. So we'd like to change this, I think, because it's a problem having problems. We actually don't need to have that problem of having problems, because we have tools to help us shift, to slip into the neocortex of our brain by thinking of them as challenges, and by slipping into a better internal state to deal with the challenges that come up in life So I thought I would share with you the 3 practices that have really helped me um, transform, have a perspective transform my perspective. And I chose this picture of a curtain, or behind which is something. It looks like it might be the ocean or the sea or something lovely. But we often say in Raj Yoga, behind the veil. And I know the veil is quite a word these days, but let's say behind what I see in front of me could be something different. So these 3 reframe practices I'm going to suggest for us today as a way to help us remove all problem think from our lives. So we'll never have another problem ever again. Because we will be so good at reframing anything that arises that I perceive in a kind of quick reactive way. I perceive it to be a problem. I will have these 3 reframe practices to help me. And slowly over time, what happens is I don't even perceive things to be problems anymore. They're just like a challenge. Okay, we share the screen like this. Okay, we hide the next slide so no one reads ahead. Okay, we just adjust, basically. I'm going to try it again, though, because this is not done this. Let's see if I can just do this one more time. Oh, look at that. Well, no, I would say that's a resounding no from PowerPoint. Thank you, PowerPoint. I understand. I get it. No more. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Reframe practice 1. Oh, and I have to say, when I first came to Raj Yoga, when I first came to the Brahma Kumaris, I was I had just become a single mom, and I had bought a little tiny house to live in with the 2 daughters. And it was not a very expensive house because I couldn't afford much. It was a little house. It was a very, very old house, 1888 house. So it was strung, it had lots of holes in it, let's say. And every time something in the house broke, I had this damsel in distress reaction. Like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And I realized over the 12 years that I was in that house, that year after year, breakdown after breakdown, I slowly lost my damsel in distress. So just a mere desensitization, problem after problem after problem after problem, at some point makes you quite hardy, makes you quite, okay, another problem. I mean, okay, another problem. Okay, another problem. So let's look at these reframe practices. So the first one, and I really like this one very much. The first one is quite simply that we see, hiding behind what appears to be a problem, we see a gift. And we don't know what the gift is just yet, but I switch my attitude to consider the possibility that hiding inside what I perceive to be a problem is actually a gift. And here's the thinking behind this activity, and this will be one of the activities for you. We all know that things mature over time, right? We know that fruit matures over time, and that the best time to eat it is probably, I don't know, depends on who you are. Some of us like bananas that are number 2 stage. Some of us prefer a number 7 stage banana. I'm a big fan of a number 5, but I could live with a number 6 banana. So wherever, the best is for you, but all fruit matures over time, right? And we know what happens when you eat unripe fruit. Yeah. In the same way, we know people mature over time. What I know now, the wisdom I have within me now, much different than when I was younger, right? All of us. And as it turns out, situations also mature over time. Perhaps you've heard the story of the Chinese You know, that Chinese legend, this wonderful old story of the Chinese man living with his family in the rice fields. And I'm trying to remember how it goes. One day the horse gets out and they require the horse to help with the planting. And everybody says, oh, what a terrible bad luck you've had, your horse. And the wise Chinese gentleman says, well, maybe so, maybe not. Do you know this story? And then the next day, the horse comes back, but with a bunch of other wild horses. So now he has many horses. And everybody in the village says, oh, what great luck, what great fortune you've had. And the wise Chinese gentleman says, maybe so, maybe not. Let's see. And then the next day, his son is trying to tame one of these wild horses, and he breaks his leg. And everybody in the village says, oh, what terrible fortune, what terrible luck, your son has broken his leg. And the wise Chinese gentleman says, maybe so, maybe not. Let's see. And then the next day, what happens? The Chinese army comes to the village and they are recruiting young men to go to battle. But they cannot take his son because his son has a broken leg. And everybody in the village says, oh, what great luck. And he says, maybe yes, maybe no, let's see. So this attitude of let's see is one of the reframe practices when I perceive something to be a problem, because situations mature over time. I don't know. Today it seems a problem. Tomorrow there'll be a benefit I wasn't perceiving today. So I have to zoom out. I have to be willing to look bigger than the situation. This is the reframe perspective, which starts with maybe a leap of faith at the beginning. Oh, there's a gift inside this problem. I wonder what it is. Let me watch as the situation matures day after day after day. As it turns out, with my ancient house, I became very handy. I can fix many things now. This is a very useful life skill. And now I live in the meditation center and it's relatively new and not so many things break, but they still break and I have no trouble fixing them. So that was a gift that took 12 years for me to unwrap, right? But it was a gift of a broken house. So we have to zoom out. This lovely movie, if you haven't seen it, it's just delightful, about India, the elderly people that go to retire and die in India, in this place called the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. In this movie, very famous quote, everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it's not yet the end. So again, this idea that situations mature over time, and let me mature so that I can watch where the benefit is, where the gift is. So here's the first exercise. I'm going to ask you to remember a time in your life when you faced a circumstance or a situation you thought would never end. A problem, in other words. Something that you thought could not possibly result in a positive outcome. You don't have to share it, but just see if you can find a situation, or more than one, but find a situation in your life that at the time felt like the worst thing ever. Felt like it would never end, or felt like it would never turn into anything positive. But now, when you look back at the situation, you can say to yourself with confidence, yep, that was really bad. But if it hadn't happened, I would never have learned, fill in the blank. So a situation in your life that looked pretty bad at the time, a problem, but that now when you look back, you can go, gosh, you know, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today, or I wouldn't have learned this, or this positive thing would not have come into my life. So take a moment and see if you can think of one of those situations for yourself. More than happy if you'd like to share in the chat box. You know, could be things like, I know many people who got fired went on to do better jobs, things they loved much more. I know for me, having a really hard situation in my life turned into where I'm at now, that I'm meditating with the Brahma Kumaris. And so I'm very grateful for that. At the time, it was awful. But now I can look back and say that was a gift. So see if there's something for you in your life, because the proof is in the pudding. If we've lived this before, then we actually know that problems can come bearing gifts. So has everyone got one? Can you think of a situation that looked like a problem, turned into a gift? If you'd like, put it in the chat box and we'll all enjoy seeing. You know, you don't have to tell us the whole story. You could just give us, you know, okay. Nice. So Abba, you've already had this attitude towards problems, which probably means you have had, I won't say an easier ride in life, but you have been easier with the ride of life. Yeah, lovely. Okay, and anyone else? Sometimes it takes a while to type for our one finger typers, so we just give them a minute. Without the situation, I would never have learned to ask what really matters in the long run, or what really makes me happy. Beautiful, Harsha. That's great. Yes. Sometimes when we're up against the wall trying to do things the way we've always done them, we stop. We have to stop and ask ourselves, does this really matter? What really matters to me? What really makes me happy? Thank you. It helped me. Much more power I have to overcome another situation. Help show me. I think you're saying, show me how much power I have. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So we'll just wait another minute in case there are any other typers. So this is the first reframe. And, you know, this is not blind faith, especially if we have had this experience in the past. Then actually, this is experience. And this is actually maturing me. This is what maturity is to be able to see past the immediate to the potential for a positive outcome. It makes me less reactive, right? To see the gift. So just like people mature, fruit matures, situations mature, and I mature to the point where my first thought when a problem comes up is, wonder what the gift is here. Okay, we got to get through the problem first, but let's hold the attitude of what could the gift be. All right, that's reframe practice number 1. Now, reframe practice number 2 is going to require pen and paper, but let's get into it first. So Roddy's got something there. Triggering situations diminished in time. Nice. Right, so it desensitized you over time, or triggering it diminished in time being, for the time being, maybe. Oh, look, we've got some more coming in. Isn't this great? Okay. My daughter's mental health challenges led me to recognize my own trauma. Now I'm able to support healing with others. Oh, that's beautiful, Deborah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Very good. Sometimes we look at others as if they're the ones having the challenge, and then we recognize, oh, there's a mirror here for myself. It's really lovely. Yeah. Okay. So it's not just Pollyanna thinking to think that these problems, oh, I shouldn't touch this PowerPoint. Let me not do anything. Not do anything. Just leave it where it is. Okay. If I had not felt ill, I would not have understood the importance of health. Brilliant. That's Ankita, yeah. And Daksha, problems come like darkness, but there's hope for light. Next day. Yeah, great. So we mature the more we have the experience that what appears horrible can actually turn into something quite beautiful. So this is maturity for us, and this is how problems always have hidden within them a gift, or we can reframe our thinking by starting with that assumption. Okay, reframe practice number 2. And this is to understand, and these are all questions of understanding, and these are all perspective transformation. So this is about how I look at problems, right? Because that's how we work here in the meditation world, is we approach everything that happens to us from the perspective of how is this affecting my thinking, and how can my thinking affect the situation. So reframe practice number 2 is to think about a perceived problem, any challenge that comes to me, to see it as training. It's training to strengthen some aspect of my character. So these people are willingly doing this obstacle course for fun. Why? Because they want to get stronger, and they want to get faster, and they want to get more agile, right? So training, a problem, a challenge situation. Ah, yes, and Harsha just got back from one of these. This is, yes, you even know what it's called. Great. I didn't know what it was called. Great. Okay. So when you think about anything, you know, if you're in yoga class, if you're doing weights or workout, if you're doing ab crunches, anything that you're doing, we always start at an elementary level. But then for it to stretch us, to strengthen us, we have to go to the next level. We have to always be stretching just a little bit. When you start to race in hurdles, you know, they start quite low and then they have to get higher. Even when you do fun things like dance the limbo, the better you get at it, the lower the bar goes, right? So in order for us to learn, in order for us to become stronger, to sharpen, to refine our capacities, we need greater challenge. Today in our morning spiritual class, which is more recent for all of you than it is for me, do you remember the line, the stronger you get, the stronger the challenges will be? So this is just how it is. The stronger we get, the more we need to increase the difficulty of our training. So the second reframe is to develop the humility to learn the lessons that life is offering me, to learn the lessons from life's training program. This requires humility. So to see a problem or a challenge as a training to strengthen me means I become the learner. I become the humble learner. And there's two metaphors or paradigms that are quite helpful here for us. And they're just lenses through which we can look at these challenging situations so that we can draw maximum learning benefit. One is that life is a school. Two is the world is a stage, and everyone on it is just a player, an actor. They come, they go, everyone plays their part. So looking at life as a school, looking at life as a stage, a play that we're all part of, helps me realize that the world stage rehearsals are preparing me. And in the school of life, everything is a lesson. So the exercise I would like to give you an opportunity to do is I'd like you to think of a situation that's happening right now in your life that you might call a problem, or you might consider a challenge. And I'm going to ask you first, right before we get too many details, if you can just take a piece of paper and draw a circle in the middle of your paper. And in the middle of that circle, I'd like you to write the word for what is the current challenge or situation. So don't write the whole story, but just write. So like in my case, we're doing a huge kind of house upheaval here to get ready for a new service chapter. And there's challenges to it. I won't call it a problem, but there are challenges to it. So I am putting house at the very center of my page. So for all of you, if you can do that, take a situation that's happening in your life right now that before this session you may have called a problem. Now you might call it a challenge, and write it in the center of the page. Okay. And then I would like you to put little circles all around the central issue, whatever it is, of all the various people who are involved in this particular challenge situation. So you'll have little circles around your big situation. And I just put letters. I mean, these are not real people here, but do not put yourself, put the other people who are involved in this situation just by their first letter of their name. And there may only be one or two people, or there may be many people. Put their first letter of their name in all the various circles. But don't put yourself, just the other people. Okay, so you should have a piece of paper that looks, something like that. So just think of all the people that are involved. And then I would like you to draw some arrows. And these arrows are going in the direction of who is affecting the situation. So an arrow from the person to the problem. like they're affecting it in some way. They're making it more complicated, or they could be adding, goodness. They could be adding, they're trying to improve the situation. So they're being affected by it. So then you would take an arrow from the center and put it out to the person. So this situation is mostly affecting this person, and it's affecting this person. But they are also affecting the situation, or they are affecting other people. So you can put arrows in all directions. They can go between people. They can go from the problem out, or from out into the problem. Okay, so who's affecting the situation and who's being affected by it? This is actually good thinking work. So we'll just take another minute to just think it through. Very interesting to look at a situation by all the ones who are involved in some way. Also helps us be a detached observer. So we'll take another minute for you just to continue doing this. Okay, so you might have something that looks a bit messy, something that looks like it's got a bunch of arrows going back and forth. And that would be great. Something, kind of messy. Arrows going here and there and everywhere. Okay, everyone have arrows? Yeah, show and tell anyone who's got their cameras on. Show us your little picture, and then we can see how complicated these. Oh, look at that. See, look how complicated they can become. Yeah, look at that. Some of them are quite simple, not so many people involved, but obviously the more people involved, the more complicated, right? The more arrows. Oh, look at that one. Excellent. Look at these. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Now, ta-da. Now we're coming to the next stage here. Here is the next. I would like you to put yourself. So here's Judy in the bottom of the picture, a bottom corner of the picture. Put yourself, a little circle that has you. I just put J for Judy. It's backwards, sorry. So there's my situation, my challenge, the problem, whatever. And there's me over there. And I've had a nice experience of being a detached observer of all of these interaction energies affecting or being affected by. But what I would like you to do now is I would like you to take every single arrow that you have on your page and redirect it to you. So take every arrow that's there, and redirect it to you. Every arrow. Doesn't matter what direction it's going in on your map, on your picture. But right now, redirect every one of those arrows to yourself. It's going to be a bit shocking to see it. So all your arrows going to you. Whew. Now just look at that. What's the feeling that comes up when you look at that? Oh my goodness. Right? Oh my goodness. Look what's happening to me. All right, so here's the reframe. Here's the really big reframe. Is that let us just imagine that this is a school. Life is a school and life is a stage. Let me just imagine that all these wonderful actors, all these wonderful people got together and staged this scene just for me. Bless them, all of them, playing all these parts. They all got together and they have props and they have special script and everything. They all got together and they staged this very elaborate scene just for me. Why? So that I could learn this most incredible lesson. Isn't that amazing? I feel so grateful to all of them for doing this. So the question now for me is, what lesson is this situation trying to teach me? I'm going to put it in the what quality does this situation require of me? Which is, what is the lesson all these people have come together for me to learn? And just take a moment, look at your situation and allow your mind to be silent and then answer that question. What have all these amazing people come together, staged this scene so that I can learn what is the quality this situation requires of me? This is my lesson. And write it down. The lesson for me is ... Okay, is it clear to you? You don't have to share it, but is it clear to you what the lesson is? Not yet. Okay, so the situation will persist until the lesson is clear. That's how it works. So we want to make sure we can see the lesson as soon as possible. But basically, let me see if I can get the humility to be a learner and willingly learn the life lessons in front of me. This is perspective reframe practice number 2. It's about seeing every one of these challenging situations as a training opportunity. There is something that life is offering me, not as a gift, that was number 1, but to help me learn a lesson, something that's helping me develop a strength, develop a capacity. And typically, in these types of situations, life is requiring of me, requesting of me, offering me the opportunity to learn a quality I don't actually want to give. So I am the greatest obstacle because I am resisting learning that. I either don't feel I should in this situation, they should, but that's not how life works, right? Life is going to continue to offer me that type of special situation until I am willing to learn the life lesson. So I say, let's go humbly and learn the lesson before we suffer too much. Yeah, nice, Harsha. It is a nice exercise, isn't it? There's usually a bit of shock when you see all those arrows going to you. It's almost like, oh, am I to blame? But instead to reframe it into, isn't that amazing this very complex situation, all so that I could learn something. Isn't that beautiful? So then life becomes a support for my learning. Although it appears that life is pummeling me with arrows, that's not actually what's happening. They're actually, it's giving me this golden opportunity to learn. All right. The problem still needs to be solved, says Ava. I learned, but yes, well, yes. I learned. Okay, so sometimes when we learn a lesson, there's always layers of realization. I might get what the lesson is, but it's not been embedded in me yet. It's only when it's really deeply embedded that then the situation shifts. Of course, we practically have to step forward and do things. Like I'm building furniture to change our space here. They're practically things I have to do, but I don't feel it's a problem. It's more like an opportunity to learn. All right, and the last, because I see our time is going. The last is the reframe practice is to see the problems or the challenging situations that arise, every one of them as a report card. So, you get a report card after you've studied, after you've made all your preparations, then you show up. It's the moment of truth. You write the exam and then you get the mark back. So situations in life that appear to be problems reveal how well I have prepared, because we prepare every day. We understand the obstacles come to make me stronger, but they also come to show me my own strength and how much I have progressed. So I can see how different now my response when something breaks. It's like, oh, okay, let's fix it. No big deal. So that shows me how much I have progressed. I'm no longer reacting in despair. So it's a report card. Problem also serves as a report card. And of course, what does A+ mean for us as meditators? An A+ means that I have managed to remain stable, peaceful, loveful, and powerful, no matter how tough the problem and no matter how long it persists. That's an A+. So we know what marks we're getting on a day-to-day basis in life's little challenges. So I think I'm going to end there. I'm not sure. I maybe was supposed to end earlier, so we had Q&A. Sorry if I didn't get my timing right, but anyways, you'll let me know if it's Sneha who's doing that, because I have I have a bunch of blessings for you to end, a bunch of gifts to end. But tell me what we're doing now.
Maybe we can spend a few minutes with questions if anyone has, and then definitely you could share those blessings with us after that. So if any questions, anyone, feel free to put it in the chat box so that they get covered.
Okay.
So it looks like Judy, Ben, everyone's excited to see the gift.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Let's do the gift. And yeah, we could just do a little meditation after we receive our gift. How's that? Because I think we have just a couple minutes before we end. Is that okay?
Yes, but I do see one question popped up. So if we could just cover those first, would that be okay?
Sure. Yeah. How to manage exam stress. Yeah. Some people have performance anxiety, so it doesn't matter how much they prepare. It's the exam itself that freaks them out, and I know from my own experience, if I've done my preparation, then the only thing left I can do is manage my state of mind. So the deep breathing, the self-talk, the meditating, and a huge amount of faith to just say to God, okay, I've done my best, help me stay calm here. Because if I stay calm, then my intellect will work and the best of me will come out during the test, right? So, two parts. One, you got to prepare, but if you've done your preparation, then you just have to manage your mind. It's like, Olympians, they do all the training before they get to the Olympics. And in the moment of the Olympics, the only thing they can do is manage their mind. They have to stay calm and focused. So meditation, deep breathing, self-talk, a lot of faith. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Judy. So before we get the blessings and move to meditation, just a quick announcement. So this workshop today, it's really a part of the Pacific Time Zone team. The whole team conducted it together. And in order to know more about what centers are in the Pacific Time Zone, the meditation centers, and to find one which is local and next to you, we do have a webpage. And that webpage is called pstbrahmakumaris.org. So you can go there and you can find a center which is local to your place. And with that, Judy, then again, over to you. It's a fun part of the session with the blessings.
Yeah, no work involved in this part. This is the fun part. Okay, so here we go. Here's your gift. So I have 4 blessings. Well, 4 gifts. And you just have to pick number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before I reveal them, we've all been trained up in this methodology, right? So just pick a number between 1 and 4, and then I'm going to reveal each of them. So you have to have your number in mind so you know which one is yours when it appears. Okay, here we go. Number 1. You are a brave and courageous soul. Your love for truth makes you a trustworthy instrument to bring peace and love into every situation. So whoever picked number 1, this is going to be your gift for dealing with any problems that life brings to you, is to know you are brave and courageous. All right, number 2. Those of you who selected number 2, here we go. You are a deeply reflective soul whose honesty of the heart reveals your true qualities of peace and love. You inspire others to come close to God. So each of these gifts, of course, is what makes you bigger than any problem that could come your way. So those who selected number 3, you are an appreciative soul. Because you value every person for their uniqueness, God can shine light through you to make others sparkle. Of course, when we make others sparkle, we get support from all directions, don't we? We get help for all problems. And number 4, anyone who selected number 4, you are an authentic soul. Your refined intellect, creates beauty and accuracy in everything you do. Oh, I can fix that because look at this. I can do anything I want on my screen. There. You are an authentic soul. Your refined intellect creates beauty and accuracy in everything you do. So shall we savor our gift just for a couple of moments together in meditation to end? So whatever gift you've got, let's just go inside and take a deep breath in. Be in the silence of your mind, your inner space that is precious and sacred and yours alone. A place where you can meet yourself, a place where you can invite God to be with you. And as you breathe in, absorb the light of God, of God's pure energy, and absorb your blessing deep into the being so that it awakens and nourishes the most beautiful, most powerful parts of yourself. And as you breathe in, just feel the soul becoming more and more powerful. The light of the soul shining brighter and brighter, until the inner feeling of such quiet confidence that you are bigger than any problem life could bring your way. You have within you all of the resources you need to face any challenging situation, and you have help in the divine. So let me reframe problems as gifts, training, and report cards. And then there'll be no problems anymore. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much, Judy Ben. That was so good. That was so great. And in terms of, I think, yeah, problem, just like how you transitioned from the word problem to a gift. That's what we really need to focus on, see the benefit behind everything that life is presenting us. So thank you again. And for all those who attended, there is the recording link has already been put in the chat box. So if you'd like to view the recording or share it, feel free to do so. So with that, we end today's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you again, Sister Judy. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
You all can just turn on your camera for just a few seconds so that Sister Judy can see all of you. That would be wonderful.
Oh, Satya, hello. I didn't see you. There you are. Okay. Oh, look, Denise is there. Hello. So many lovely familiar faces. Oh, beautiful. Nice to be with you today. Oh, there's Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Om Shanti.